feeling like I'm academics. Can't ride no
Stop it. Hold on. Let me see. Yo, he said, by the way, we gotta play this YSL thing. They're accusing a detective of stealing Young Thug's a Richard Millie watch. Yo, here's the funny thing. Yo, Fulton County is the worst place ever. All criminals go there. I ain't gonna lie to you. Y'all gonna have a good time. First of all, the police, even though Young Thug done beat his case, they're trying to keep Young Thug cars. They're trying to like listen to this right here. Matter of fact, I think we'll just skip on to this and forget the baby stuff. That's kind of old, right? Um, this is crazy. Fulton County is so tight. Listen to this shit, chat.
I read the superseding indictment against Little Dirk.
No. Is it this one?
So Young Thug, Brian Steele, and Fulton County prosecutors are not done yet. There is another case going on where Fulton County is bringing a civil forfeiture action. They're claiming that when they arrested Thug, they seized up a bunch of property that is the result of criminal activity, that Jeffrey Williams acquired this property through the criminal activity. Now, what's very interesting, I'm going to tell you about the property. In the state of Georgia, you don't need to be convicted to lose your civil forfeiture case. So without any conviction at all on the books, the government can sue you civilly and claim that the property that they seized was illegally gotten by you. That's incredible. Now, the property that we're talking about here is a bunch of cars. It's like $1 million car collection, a Maybach, AMG GTs. There's a bunch of jewelry, $150,000 in cash, and a bunch of guns. Probably well over two and a half, maybe even $3 million worth of assets here that the state of Georgia is trying to keep from Young Thug. Now, obviously, Brian Steele is on the case. Brian Steele is going to argue that Thug got this property by selling music and doing shows and taking the money from the music and the shows and buying the cars and the jewelry and the guns. That's not illegal. And the government will try to argue, no, YSL is a gang, and he was promoting the gang, and through promoting the gang, he was able to get this money. Very interesting to see. It's the same judge. So Young Thug, Brian Steele, and Fulton County
Okay. So here's the interesting part about what's happening now. Fulton County, like I keep telling you, which is a good thing that Young Thug has gotten out of there. Yo, these cops, they spend a lot of their lives, these prosecutors spend a lot of time dedicated to these cases that they're bringing forth, okay? Yes, they're getting paid, but they get invested and personally invested at times. When they get spanked in court or embarrassed, or the judge scolds them, like how they have in the Fulton County versus, or really state of Georgia versus YSL situation, it's very embarrassing. It could hurt their potential future in being a law enforcement agent or someone that works in the DA office. And for that, they try to make sure they get back, like literally, right? And not only are they worried about their own mortality, but like if you think about a situation with the whole YSL case, Fonnie Willis had promised the mom, the family of Donovan Nutt Thomas, that they were going to get justice. Except when Young Thug, who they believe was the head of this whole thing, when he got walk out of jail same day, just 15 years probation plea, the mom wasn't even allowed to speak. She wasn't even allowed to even tell her side, and she sat in court for over a year. Okay, so what did that do? Well, I'll tell you. They're salty at Thug. They want to get Thug back behind bars, and this is why probation is going to be super hard for him. You better not play around. So probation is going to be pretty hard for him, and essentially they're trying to be super petty with him. Now, how are they trying to be super petty with him? When they first raided his house and they found like silencers or found whatever, they seized a bunch of stuff because they had put in a civil forfeiture act that said that, hey, because we feel the crimes that happened in this case was exorbitant, we're going to need a lot for, basically payback for the victims and also payback to the state once everything is done. So we're going to just hold on to his assets. By the way, it's kind of the same thing, different jurisdiction, clearly different country that's happening to Andrew Tate, where they took all his cars and they're freezing some of his money because they're like, hey, listen, you're going to have to pay back. So it's like restitution, right? So they took a bunch of Young Thug cars, phones, guns, even some legally that other people own. they have a bunch of shit, right? Now, with all that being said, um, with all that being said, Thug not really beat the case, and I got to stop using that terminology because he didn't beat the case. He pled guilty to a favorable plea. However, the cops are salty. The DA's salty. They still want to stick it to him. So they're like, we're not returning your shit. Now, they're supposed to just return this shit. And usually what happens then is that, if they don't return your shit after a while, Thug could go back to the judge and say, hey, put an order in that they return my shit. Hey, listen, I'm good. Now, remember, Thug is not innocent. Be very clear on that. Thug did not beat the case. He pled nolo contendere, and he pled guilty to certain charges. What that means is that the government is looking at it almost in a civil sense, saying we couldn't lock him up, but maybe we could fuck him up in a civil sense. The things we took from him, we don't want to give back. So they don't want to give Thug back like his cars that they took, jewelry. They don't want to give back shit. Really, it's not that they say, oh, that's going to be money that's going to be on the books that in case we got to pay restitution to other people, because like Thug took a deal that kind of makes him not liable civilly for the most part. But they just want to fuck with Thug, right? So that is something that's happening. Now we see this happen, which is okay, where is it? I got it. Let me go to law and crimes. There's DA or not DA. Law and crimes. There's someone accused of stealing Young Thug's Richard Mille, which I'm guessing is probably missing or something of the sort.
You could tell they were starstruck.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to figure it out. One of these is it was a hearing with Young Thug. Let me see. No, I gotta go to law and crimes trial. I think this is it. Give me a second. Okay, I'll just Google it. Richard Mille, Young Thug. Okay, yeah. So there's a detective.
Thank you. Now, I want
So they're saying a detective is accused of stealing Young Thug's Richard Mille. Here we go.
to ask you about a time where, do you know Detective Hogan with APD Homicide?
I do.
And was there ever a time that you provided any assistance to him?
Oh,
Do you have any evidence that he was anywhere near those 6 guns?
I do not.
Did you take part in the inventory, possession, or transport of the jewelry that was found in Mr. Williams' home?
My role during the search was to take photographs of evidence as it was recovered.
Do you recall there being 2 Richard Mille watches in Mr. Williams' home?
I don't know if I would know those if I saw them, so I don't know if there were 2 or not.
Okay. Do you recall seeing it's a Richard Mille brand. I understand you don't know what that brand would look like, but do you recall seeing a white ceramic watch with a pink band in the jewelry that you collected, or that was collected in that home?
I believe one was. Do I remember seeing it? I certainly don't a couple years later.
Okay. If a Richard Mille RM055 Bubba Watson white ceramic watch is not present in property today, do you know what happened to that watch?
I wouldn't have any idea.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right, redirect.
Yes, Your Honor. Detective Belknap, on cross, you were asked by defense counsel about the May 9th search of Jeffrey Williams' home. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so essentially they're getting into the weeds here. It appears that the state, and this is what I'm saying, Fulton County, this is why I say, all y'all criminals, just go down there and go do what y'all want to do. Y'all want to go kill a couple niggas, go down there. Y'all want to go rob a couple people, go down there, sell some drugs, go down there. I'm going to tell you why. Because the prosecution is so weak. The judges are so weak. They clearly just have a sloppy system going on down there, right? it appears through accusations, the detectives are stealing cash, jewelry. The attorneys, prosecutors, and defense attorneys are fucking the criminals. The judges are saying the N-word and they're like wiping their nose. Okay? The court reporters love the snitches. If you do crime, get out of these other places and get down to Fulton County, because someone will have a sweet and a soft spot for you. Why? Because here's the reality of what's going on in Fulton County. The criminals ain't the defendants ain't the only criminals. They're all criminals. Okay? Detectives are thieves. The bailiffs are fucking the niggas who doing the licks. Who you think giving them the drop? The lawyers are smuggling in drugs. The judges. It's a shit show down there. So if you want to be able to catch a body, get out in two, shoot at your ops, get a slap on the wrist, go to Fulton County. It's a beautiful place. Okay? I believe what this defense attorney is even accusing. This goddamn detective probably stole that watch, man. Give Thug his Richard Milley back. This is why they don't care about prosecuting crimes. Why are we gonna care about prosecuting you? We already robbed you for $250,000. This other chick over there who was like the court reporter or the judge, she's fucking you. Everybody getting what they need to get out of this system, except the victims. If you got your leg blown off, you got shot in the neck, you got robbed, you've been having all type of scat packs and whatever, do drive-bys in your neighborhood, you're fucked. But if you're one of those people that have been benefiting and predatorily preying upon those people that live there, you're good to go in Fulton County, okay? The detectives, why solve the crime when you can steal their jewelry? Prosecutors, why solve shit when in reality you damn near in cahoots with some of the family members of the people who doing shit? Fonnie Willis is giving y'all a beautiful example. She's fucking the special prosecutor who she had hoped to prosecute Trump. And you got the judges saying the N-word. You got the court reporters taking pictures with the snitches. This is a beautiful thing they got going on in Fulton County for criminals. Okay? If you're a law-abiding citizen in Fulton County, you're fucked. For all the criminals, have a blast. Okay? That's just the reality about this. I'm going to keep it a beat. So yeah, Young Thug, I'm going to keep it a beat, Young Thug. Chalk this to the game. You should want to chalk this to the game. You got off quite easy, some would say, with your case. Yeah, they stole your half or $250,000 watch. Chalk it up to the game, bro. Chalk it up to the game. Because I don't think you got to chalk it up to the game. Yo, you know what's so funny? I keep telling people, they got to show me somebody who beat a Rico. Ain't nobody who beat a Rico that's black or in hip hop that they know. Not one. Now, Young Thug ain't beat it, but what I'm saying is that the mere fact that he got 2 years, like, you realize that 6ix9ine was charged with a Rico and did about the same time as Thug, right? You know that, right?
So you should just let a nigga rob you?
No, what I'm saying is that when you're in a system that is so corrupted that justice can't prevail no matter what, you're in a lawless land. And just like how you get to beat your charges, they get to rob you. Well, hear what I'm saying. You're not gonna get
like an insurance scam.
You're not gonna get justice through the court. Go rob the cop back. That's what it is. You say you think it's an insurance scam?
Yeah, man. That's a nice claim right there. Come back home.
Nah.
Do you think, nigga, didn't we see the nigga on the stand wearing the watch?
Hold on.
See that too.
So wait.